Okay, I want to say a very blessed and good, happy good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning to all my family and friends everywhere. Here I am again. Here I am again. Coming to you to say a very happy and a blessed good day. A blessed good day to you. And I just want to hope and pray that all of you are doing well, and by the grace of God, that you're standing strong and don't buckle under pressure, because pressure is in this life. But don't buckle under pressure. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. And as usual, I just want to sing and give God thanks for His grace and mercy. And before I start my little chat, and hopefully that we can all be blessed today, even more than we are. Praise God. He leadeth me, O blessed thought, O words with heavenly comfort fraught. Whate'er I do, where'er I be, still is God's hands that leadeth me. He leadeth me, He leadeth me, by His own hands He leadeth me. His faithful follower I would be, for by His hands He leadeth me. And when my task on earth is done, when by Thy grace the victory's won, in death's cold rage I will not flee, since God through Jordan leadeth me. He leadeth me, He leadeth me, by His own hands He leadeth me. His faithful follower I would be, for by His hands He leadeth me. He leadeth me, He leadeth me, by His own hands He leadeth me. His faithful follower I would be, for by His hands He leadeth me. He leadeth me. You know, many times when I have problems and I go to God in prayer, He gives me this song, He leadeth me. He didn't remove my problem. He just gave me this song, He leadeth me, by His own hands He leadeth me. And I say that so that you can take an example from that, because many times when we have problems and we go to God in prayer, asking God for a resolution or some answers. Sometimes He doesn't resolve or doesn't give you any direct answer. He just wants you to know, just want us to know that He is leading, even though our brain don't understand. But we should understand this much, that He is leading. And if He's leading, even though our heads don't understand, but go on. Keep on going on. Keep on going on. God bless. Again, it is good to be with you. I'm glad to be in God's service. I am glad to be in God's service. I'm glad to be in God's service one more time. Yes, He didn't have to make me live. He didn't have to make me live. But I'm glad to be in God's service one more time. Yes, I am glad to be in God's service. I am glad to be in God's service. I'm glad to be in God's service one more time. Yes, He didn't have to make me live, and He didn't have to make you live. So let's be glad to be in God's service one more time. I'm glad to be in God's service. Are you glad to be in God's service? Yes, let's be glad to be in God's service one more time. Yes, He didn't have to make us live. He didn't have to make us live. So be glad to be in God's service one more time. Oh, I am glad to be in God's service. I am glad to be in God's service. I'm glad to be in God's service one more time. Oh, He didn't have to make me live, and He didn't have to make you live. So be glad to be in God's service one more time. Praise God. It's a good, we're alive. We're alive. We may not have everything that we want or the way we want it. We may not have everything we want or the way we want it at this time, but be glad that God has seen fit to keep us here. And as long as there's life, there is hope. We need to hear. We need to hear from you. We need a word from you. If we don't hear from you, what will we do? Wanting you more each day to show us your perfect way. There is no other way that we can live. We need to hear from you. We need a word from you. If we don't hear from you, what will we do? Wanting you more each day to show us your perfect way. There is no other way that we can live. Yes, we need to hear. I need to hear from God. And I thank God that His words are available. You know, the Bible is here and His words are in it. But not everything applies to everyone at the same time and in the same way. So today I pray that God will direct and lead so that the words that I say, the things that I say will be applicable, will apply to you and to me, and so that it'll be a blessing. And let me tell you a little story. You know, I titled this little clip, The Immigrant. The story of an immigrant. There's a story of an immigrant in the Bible that I read, and it makes me think of myself and makes me think of many other people that I know. And as a matter of fact, it's a story of many, many people, millions and millions of people in this country, in the United States. You see, in this country, people have traveled and have sought to come here in the United States from all over. People have sought to come here. People have come here from different parts of the world because there is the perception or the thought that life here is better than where we were, and that we can come here and do better than where we were. So people have come here, flocked here from many, many places. And, you know, the story of an immigrant is a very interesting story. It's varied, it's different for different people, but there are some common things among many. And that when you leave home, like I did, I came to this country and don't have the same support system that you had back home. I mean, when I was growing up back home, I had lots of family and friends all around. I could travel all over the island and find somebody that I can that I know or somehow can connect with. And if I'm hungry, I could go over to the bush with my slingshot and shoot some birds and roast some birds and eat, or find some fruits in the bushes and climb an orange or a mango tree and pick some fruits and eat in the bushes. And come to this, come to New York City, or many people come to different cities in this country and find that life is quite different from the way they knew it, they had it. And it reminds me of a story of Jacob in the Bible, and the story is in from Genesis chapter 27 up to about 33. From Genesis 27 to 33, there's the story of Jacob. Jacob was living with his father and mother and brother, and he cheated his brother Esau and had to run away. He went back to his parents' homeland, Padan Aram, and he went back there with the intention to go find a wife. His father sent him back there to go find a wife. And so he traveled from Canaan, where his family was, and by himself. And on the way traveling, he stopped at one place to sleep, and over in the bushes. He didn't have a bed. He didn't carry a bed with him, so he put a stone as his pillow and lay down to sleep. And during his sleep, he had a dream where he saw a ladder set from heaven to earth, and angels of God going up and down on the ladder. And he realized that God is in this place. So he made an agreement. He made a covenant with God. He says, if you will keep me in the way that I go and take me back safely here, then you will be my God, and I will make a donation to you. Well, God told him that he would protect him and keep him and guide him. And you would think that, okay, just like an immigrant who come here from somewhere else, come here and leave your support system at home, you leave your parents and your family and a lot of what you know, travel somewhere else. And then you have to start all over from scratch. You have to develop relationships and try to make a living. Many immigrants come here, and life may not be exactly the same for each one, but there's similarities. Many come here without a support system, have to struggle very hard, very, very hard. Many of us, like myself, might have thought that we come here, we're going to pick up money on the streets and get rich, but it's not so. I find that the hardest life that I've had was in this country, not in Jamaica when I was growing up there. I mean, in Jamaica, life was, we were cash poor, but we could, go in the bushes and find food. Or, the neighbor has orange trees or fruit trees. You go throw stones and, knock some fruits off your neighbor's tree or something like that. But you come to this city and life is quite different. You have to make sure that you work and everything that you need to live, you have to work for it. Life here can be extremely difficult for an immigrant, and many of us come here and have to struggle very hard before we get a second wind and be able to do better. And so Jacob also left home, went to Padan Aram, and went to his uncle Laban. And his uncle Laban had a couple of daughters. The first one that he saw was Rachel, and she was beautiful. Wow, she was beautiful, and he fell in love with her right away. That was his cousin, but he fell in love with his cousin Rachel, and he wanted her. So anyway, he went to his uncle Laban's house, and after a while, Laban says, "Well, we are family. You shouldn't work for me for nothing. What should I pay you?" And Jacob says, "Okay, let's make a deal. I worked 7 years for you, and you give me your daughter Rachel as a wife." He says, "Great. Okay, you got a deal." And so he worked 7 years, and the 7 years went by quick because he was so in love and wanted Rachel so bad. 7 years went by quick. But after 7 years, and he says, "No, okay, give me my wife now." And Laban had a party, and that night, I guess, I don't know, maybe he got drunk or something, but when he got to bed, Laban sent the sister, Leah, to him in the room. When he woke up in the morning and thought he was sleeping with Rachel, when he woke up and looked, he was sleeping with Leah, the older sister, which is not the one that he loved. So he got upset with Laban and says, "Listen, I worked 7 years for Rachel. 7 years hard labor, I worked for Rachel. And come time now I should have her, you give me Leah. We didn't make that. That's not the plan we made." Well, Laban said, "That's not how we do it in this part of the country. We don't marry off the younger one before the older one. But I'll tell you what you do. You work another 7 years for me, and I'll give you Rachel also. And if you agree, after a week, I'll give you Rachel, and then you work another 7 years." And he wanted Rachel so bad, so he says, "Okay, I'll do that." And so he ended up with 2 wives, one that he loved, one that he didn't love. And he had to work, he worked 14 years for those 2 wives, the life of an immigrant. 7 years for one that he loved, 7 years for one that he didn't love. And so he got those 2 wives, and then they start having children. Both of them, like I said, the story is between Genesis 27 and 33 that I'm talking about right now. Now those 2 wives started having children, and competition between each one. And it's a miserable situation to read the bickering that went on between the 2 sisters, as being 2 wives for the same man. And not only them, but their maids also, their servant. When Rachel realized that she wasn't having children, she gave her maid to Jacob and says, have my maid as a wife and have children so I can have children through her. And then when Leah stopped having children, she gave Jacob her maid and says, have children with my maid so I can have more children through her. So it was a terrible, dirty, nasty situation that he had to deal with there. Not something that he really planned on, but he was tricked into it. And, think about it. I mean, he tricked his brother before he ran away, too. So he tricked, and he got tricked. And so, but after 14 years, and he had 2 wives and many children, he said, well, I need to have something for myself, too, because I'm just working for you, Uncle Laban. I'm just working for you. I need to have something for myself. And so they made a deal that he would, he was a shepherd, take care of animals, flocks, and so he made a deal with Laban, and so that he could have some of the flocks from Laban as his own. And for that, he would spend another 6 years. And so that after, during those 6 years that he is working so that he can get something for himself, Laban cheated him 10 times, changed his wages because God was blessing him. God was blessing him, and he was prospering, and he was gaining wealth. And Laban and his sons got jealous and tried to cheat him again. But after 20 years, God spoke to him and says, go back home to your family. Go back home to Canaan to your family. And by that time he had, the 2 wives and 11 children and lots of animals. And so he called his wives and told them what his plans were. And they decided to go, and on the way, they didn't even tell Laban that was leaving. They were leaving because they were afraid. He was afraid of what they would do. He was afraid that Laban would, take away everything from him and send him away empty. So he just stole away quietly. And 3 days later, when Laban realized that Jacob was gone, he gathered some of his company and went after him. And after some time, about a week, he catch up with him. But just before he catch up with him, I want to read you something. Just before he catch up with Jacob, God intervened with Laban. And in Genesis chapter 31 and verse 24, it's just before Laban catch up with Jacob, God spoke to him, and this is what God said to him. Genesis 31 verse 24. And God came to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night, and said unto him, take heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad. God warned him, whatever you do, be careful of how you deal with Jacob. Be careful. And so by the time Laban got to Jacob, he was not in a position to try to hurt him. So he was careful about that. And Jacob continued. After that, Laban went back home, and Jacob continued on his way. Jacob didn't leave home in good graces, because he cheated his brother Esau, and that's why he really had to run away. And so when he was on the way back home now, he was afraid of what his brother Esau would do. So on the way home, I want to read you another verse. In Genesis chapter 32, verse 6, a few verses. On the way back home now, after Laban went back and he was on the way, Genesis 32 verse 6 going down, it says, and the messengers, he had sent messengers to tell Esau that he was on the way coming back. And so this is continuing from there. And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, we came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks and the herds and the camels into 2 bands, and said, if Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which said unto me, Return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies of all the earth, of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I have passed over this Jordan, and now I am become two bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother Esau, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me and the mother with the children. So you see, Jacob here was on the way back home. He was on the way back home after his encounter with Laban. But he was scared. He was frightened. You know, important to realize that he didn't know that Laban was pursuing him, was coming after him. He didn't know. And God did not tell him. Neither did God tell him that he had spoken to Laban and warned Laban not to say anything or not do it, try to hurt him. But when he saw Laban, he knew that he was no match in battle for Laban. He knew that if God hadn't spoken to Laban and dealt with Laban, that Laban could have killed him or taken away everything from him or done whatever he wanted. But Laban himself told Jacob when he came, I'm in the position to hurt you, but your God spoke to me not to do anything to you. So you can imagine how Jacob felt when he saw Laban coming with all those people, knowing that he was not equipped to fight Laban unless God Almighty helped him. Can you imagine how he felt? Must have been scared. But because God didn't tell him ahead of time that I spoke to Laban. And God didn't tell him ahead of time that I dealt with Esau. God didn't tell him. So he was just going on, getting back home because God told him to go back home. So he was going back home, but he was dealing with situations that he was not sure about. Just the same way today, as we are living our lives from day to day, we are dealing with circumstances that we don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know from one day to the other what's going to happen. I mean, God could give us a word that is going to bless us, going to do this or that for us, but the day-to-day things, the moment by moment, the day by day, the hour by hour, the week by week, month by month, events that happen in our lives, we don't know. We don't know. God don't give us the details. And so we go on to try to live our lives in a normal way and try to acquire and do whatever we desire to do. Just like Jacob was doing, was just trying to live his life, be a good father to his many children and his several wives, and to just live a life, just an ordinary, normal life. But God had control in his life, even though he didn't see the hand of God day by day. But God had a hand in his life, guiding and directing him, same way he's doing with us today. Even though we don't see the hand of God in our lives every day, we go about making decisions that we think it's just all ours. We decide what time we're going to get up in the morning, what time we go to bed, what do we do from the time we get up in the morning till we go through the day and get back to bed. We make a lot of decisions what to do. And we have no idea whether or not God is really caring or directing us in the different decisions that we're making. You look at Jacob was in the same situation. Even though God had told him to go back home, but God was not directing his day-to-day operation and moment by moment, the different decisions he has to make all through the day. He didn't see the hand of God and hear the voice of God directing him. But yet God was directing him his overall life. God may not intervene in his moment-by-moment decisions, but in the bigger picture, God was directing him. God protected him when Laban tried to come after him. And now that he's on the way home, his brother Esau, that he cheated before he left, when Jacob sent to tell him that, brother, I'm coming back home, the messengers came back and told him, man, he's coming to meet you with 400 men. I mean, any normal person would wonder, why in the world would he be coming to meet me with 400 men? Why is he coming in by himself? Why? I mean, I can understand if he was coming with 1 or 2 people, but coming with an army, why would he be doing that? He's got to be coming for war. And so Jacob was scared. He was frightened. And so it is sometimes. But things was not the way it seemed to him. Because God had not spoken to him and told him that I am in control of your brother Esau. He was just going by the information that he received. He's coming with 400 men. And to him, that's war. He's coming with 400 men. Why would he be coming with 400 men except to fight war? And I am not equipped to fight him. And so he was scared. And so it is as we travel in our day-to-day walk. You know, we have gone into a situation, we left our home like Jacob, and Jacob went to Padan Aram. We left our home and come to America or to Europe or somewhere that we figured life would be better. And we have things that happen in our lives that we didn't plan on, we didn't expect. And it seemed like God is nowhere around. It seemed like we're all on our own. But God may not direct the day-to-day, hour-to-hour events that happen in our lives. But in the bigger picture, look down the road somewhere. Look 10 years back, or 15 or 20 years ago, and where you are today. You're still here. Things that have happened and that could have wiped you out, could have caused so much difference in your life, but you're still here because God has directed your life, has seen to it that you're still here. Nothing was able to take you out. And if it was for the will of Satan, you would have been gone. I would have been gone. You would have been gone, but you're still here because God has a purpose for you and for me. And I'm telling you this story to know that, so that to encourage you that though events you may not understand and see the hand of God directly in each event in your life, but He gives us the freedom to make decisions and to travel along, to continue in this life, making decisions and go on. God don't show Himself in each decision that we make. But when you look at the bigger picture, look down the road. If you're here 10 years from now, look at the problems that you're dealing with now. Will it really, what difference will it make a year from now or 10 years from now? Or you look at what you dealt with 5 years ago. Might have been dealing with something 5 years ago that was really traumatic, really different, really something that you didn't know how to handle. But that was 5 years ago. Look at how you manage and how you're still here today. We all deal with situations like that. Jacob, when he ran away to Padan Aram, he went to his uncle. He didn't know that his uncle would cheat him. He didn't know that he would be treated so bad. But yet, God allowed it. God stood by and watched it happen and didn't do anything, didn't prevent it. The same way God allows things to happen in our lives and don't prevent it. But when it comes to some important aspect where God wants us to be here, He protects us. The same way He protected Jacob so that Laban or anybody else or even nobody else could have hurt him beyond a certain point. Yes, Laban hurt him, but God only allows so much. Yes, we have been hurt, but we are still here because God only allows so much. And if He has kept us all this time to see right now, we can trust Him that even though I don't understand exactly what might happen today, or later today, or tomorrow, or next month, or next year, I don't know. But I know that God is in control. Particularly when I commit myself to Him, when you commit yourself to Him and say, Lord, I am not quite equipped to handle all the things that I have to deal with in this life, because I don't know all the things that are coming at me. This virus that has overtaken the world, I didn't see it coming, I didn't know, but I am still here because you keep me here. Many people have been gone from it, but you've kept me here, and I'm still here. You're still here. And so we can commit our lives into God's hands and say, Lord, I look to you to direct my life. He's not going to give you day to day, hour to hour, blow by blow of what you should do in your life, but He will guide and direct your overall life. He'll keep you from falling. He'll keep you. He'll keep us. He has been keeping us, and He will continue to do it as we commit ourselves to Him. Be faithful unto Him. Love Him because He loves us. And so let us trust Him and to know that He is a faithful God. The same way He's kept Jacob. We continue reading in Genesis, we read where Jacob finally met up with Esau, his brother, and didn't know what was going to happen. He thought this was war. But when Esau saw him, Esau ran and hugged him and kissed him, and it was a great reunion, far from what he thought would happen, because God was in control of his life. Even though God didn't give him the blow by blow of what would happen, he had to just trust God and to know that since his life is in God's hand, that God would direct him, even though he didn't understand the event by event operation. And the same way today, we don't understand the event by event operation and things that happen to us each day, but we can be assured that when we give our lives to God, that in the bigger picture, He will guide us and we will end up where He wants us to be. So don't be discouraged about the things that are happening that you don't understand and you may not like. All of us have that. Every human have that. Things that we don't like happen in our lives. Things that may make us scared, afraid, uncertain, don't know what to do, don't know if we do this, how things will turn out. If we do that, how things will turn out. But we should actually realize that when we are in God's hand, even though He allows us those individual decisions, but He is in control of the bigger picture. We will end up where He wants us to be. And He has good plans for us. His plans for us are good. He loves us. He cares for us. I see my brother Trevor. God bless you, my brother Trevor. God bless you. God bless you and the family. God bless you all. God bless you all. Be good to yourself. Know that God saw something in you. He saw something in me that He thought it worthwhile to die for us. God didn't die for a nobody. He didn't die for nothing. He died for somebody. And if we were nothing before, after He died for us, we are not nothing and nobody anymore. He has made us His children. He paid the price. Jesus paid the price so that we can become sons of God, His children. And children have rights. Children have rights. If you consider yourself a child of God, think about the rights that you have as a child of God. Talk to Him. Daddy, here your son comes to you. I am your son. Daddy, here I am. I come to you again. I don't understand much about you. There's much more that I need to understand about you. There's a lot that I don't know. Help me to understand. Teach me. Direct me. Direct my life. Take my life, as the songwriter says, take my life and let it be consecrate to the Lord and to Thee. Take my moments and my days, let them flow in ceaseless praise. Take my life. Let us all pray that prayer to God. Take my life and let it be consecrated unto you. I give you myself. I give you my life, my thoughts, my actions, my deed, my home, my family, everything I am. We think, and we cannot do a better job with it than God would. You know, might be afraid, some people might be afraid that if I give God my life, what kind of life am I going to have? I mean, look at the state of the world. I mean, if people could do a better job of the world than God does, why is the world in such a mess? If we can do a better job with our own lives, individual lives, than God can we? We can answer that ourselves. Can we? No. So if we give our lives to Him, we should understand that He knows exactly what to do to bring us to where He wants us to go or to be. And He knows us. He understands us. And He understands our future. He understands all the different things that come against that we are not aware of. So many things that are happening that we are not aware of. But He's aware of every one of them. And He's in control of everything. So we shouldn't be afraid of saying, take my life. Give our lives to Him. Sacrifice. Commit ourselves to Him. Should not be afraid of that. Because He is well able, much more capable of dealing and taking care of our lives than we are. So let us make that decision each day, each moment, to submit ourselves to Him, our will to Him, and He will direct our paths. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you, my dear CC. God bless you. Take care of yourselves, and the Lord bless and keep you until we meet again. Hallelujah. So, you know, there's a song that says, till we meet again at Jesus' feet. God be with you until we meet again. Bye-bye for now.